hit the field, blast off, watch them all fall. This is AFC North talk. Got me hype, it's about to be a touchdown. Got the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and the Browns. Are you listening? It's time to get it hype. Tune in when the season poppin'. Yeah, we going live. Hey, knock 'em out. Ay, first down, going hard. Yes, indeed. AFC North talk. Let's go. Hey, AFC North talk.
Welcome to another edition of AFC North talk. Here we are. And then with all the minicamps happening, all I was thinking, like, man, football's coming. By the way, I'm enjoying basketball, kind of. I'm rooting for the Pacers. I don't know about y'all. I'm rooting for the Pacers, so I was happy with the win last night. It wasn't a great game to watch, right? Because it was basically a blowout early on. But,
it's been a great series, though. It's been a really good, I think, final series. I mean, the two words, I think they tweeted it out earlier. The two words that you want to hear, especially when it comes to sports, is Game 7, right?
Yes.
And we've got a finals going to Game 7. The other thing I like, too, is like the NBA is a superstar kind of dominated sport, right? Yes. And at one point it was a super team kind of dominated sport. So if you had all of these stars teaming up together, it was a point where you knew what the finals were. We finally are getting the finals that no one predicted. So nobody was predicting. You might have thought Oklahoma City was going to get there possibly, but you would have never have thought that the Indiana Pacers were going to get there. So I'm just glad we have two fresh new teams with young budding superstars on their teams that a lot of people didn't really watch this season. Like, they weren't really nationally televised. So I think it's dope that we're getting that in terms of the finals instead of it just being Warriors, Cavs, LeBron. Like,
I agree. I'm done with the super teams. I'm done with the super teams, especially with the fabricated super teams. I'm done with that.
And most of these teams were kind of like, for the most part, outside of them like trading for Siakam, the Pacers and the Thunder, and outside of them trading for SGA, a lot of these are pretty much like homegrown teams. Like, they kind of, Jalen Williams was drafted there, like Chet Holmgren was drafted there, Naismith and all of these guys. Like, these are teams that were literally built. They weren't bought. So it's good to see that too.
And I'm all for, like, you know, I'm not saying no trades. You can trade for a piece here, a piece there. I'm just saying what LeBron did with Wade and Bosh, and then, you know, I didn't mind the Boston one. I think it was more because they were older, right? We were talking about like old guys. They did win, but like prime guys saying like Durant going to the Warriors. I hate it. I didn't mind the Warriors as a constructed, but once Durant went, like, whatever.
The Durant thing just made it worse because it was already bad when LeBron did it, and then it was like, it was almost like KD was like, what can I do that's worse than LeBron? Let me join a 72-win team the next year. That was crazy.
I agree. Okay, that putting aside, let's talk about Jaire Alexander. He signed with the Ravens. I thought it was a great signing.
Of course you did.
Money market was great. I think we're paying him $4 million, $2 million extra in incentives. You're talking about a guy that now you have Marlon inside, you have Wiggins on the outside, and you can have Cheeto and Jaire.
I mean, let's just be real. It's Jaire. Cheeto's not.
Well, my point is, the one thing you want with Jaire is you want to keep him fresh, right? What is the problem with Jaire's
injury concerns?
Right?
That's really the big thing.
When he plays, he's good. When he plays, he is good. But the problem is when he plays. That's the problem, and that is a big problem, right? So Cheeto right now, my point is, if Jaire tweaks anything, you don't have to say, okay, play through it. You can say, okay, Cheeto, go step on, right? Like, that's the thing. That's my point. Starting wise, those are gonna be your 3, and Cheeto's gonna be your backup 4th. Cues here, but that is what I think is the lineup, right? Going forward, I was excited. Obviously, Lamar was excited. Lamar the day before, which is kind of crazy. He was like, "Go get him, Eric," right? And then boom, it happened. I think he knew they were in talks, right? My assumption is I had no backing. My assumption is Jaire won a little bit more, and after that, they probably the Ravens said, "Okay, we'll give it to you in incentives, but we can't give you more base money," and that closed the deal. Supposedly, according to Alan Schefter, the Panthers and there was one more team I can't remember.
Nobody wants to play for them.
Yeah, there was a Panthers and another team that wasn't great looking to sign him for more money.
who were the two teams actually negotiating for him? Because the Panthers, I've been in that spot as a Browns fan where they're like, all right, we're going to negotiate with you to rise the number. That's what it was, right? Leverage play, right?
Maybe. But according to Adam,
there's the Ravens and the 49ers. Wonder where you're going to play.
They got used, huh, Q? They got used as leverage.
Yeah, I know that move. Why you calling me?
I mean,
you don't want to do an NT visit until Baltimore start fucking up the money. I don't know why that is.
I'm excited to see what the excuses will be when they lose in the divisional round this year.
It'll be Jaire Alexander. He's going to be hurt or something like that.
Apparently,
if Alexander was healthy.
Apparently, it was the Dolphins.
Nobody
wants to go there either.
Nobody wants to go there, bro.
Niners.
The Dolphins and the Niners, right? Oh man, what's going on there, right?
And supposedly the Bengals are kicking the tires, but nothing official.
What
the Bengals? I didn't hear that. We did that. Are you sure?
That's what it says, but nothing. Like,
that's from Schefter.
No, this is
okay. I didn't hear that.
Going on
for what it's worth, the Ricky account said that the Steelers had some interest in Jaire Alexander as well. It's either Jaire or Jalen Ramsey. So
I trust Ricky. Ricky's good in my book. I know some of the Steelers fans don't like him.
No, I trust Ricky.
I trust
somebody.
Ricky for sure.
Somebody said something about how there's like conflicting reports between Ricky and Jerry Dulac. I'm like, I'm gonna go with the dog with the hat on that one because Jerry Dulac is like, all due respect to Jerry Dulac, he obviously has information from the inside, but what he gets is what the team wants out, and it's very much like, oh yeah, no, we're not. Okay, yeah, sure. Right. He's very much just a mouthpiece he's the mouthpiece insider for what the Steelers want to get out.
There are like a tier of people you get information of. Like at the bottom, it's like the ML football accounts or like the Ari Menilov account. It's like, all right.
I'm not even trying to like be mean to the guy or anything. He seems all right. I just would love to meet one person who listens to the Ari Meirov podcast because I have yet to meet that person.
But like, there's like that, like where you're like, all right, we're either getting like aggregated stuff from real people or just straight up garbage from these accounts. And then there's like they might fucking know something, right? Like that's like where Ricky sits, whereas like you just can't act like it's gonna happen because he tweeted. But if you can corroborate enough of what Ricky's saying with what other people are saying, credible people, it's like there might be some smoke there. It's like he clearly knows somebody's agent or some agency he's like in, and that's how he's like getting this out because he has very selective information. Yeah, and it seems like it's like there's no pattern to it. I'm like, it smells like an agent to me. Just fucking bored, goes to the toilet.
Yeah, it's definitely somebody who like works at an agency or is like boys with an agent who just happens to like say, oh yeah, by the way, this is happening. So, like,
or it might be like somebody who's like an agent's assistant.
Maybe
let me get a little side hustle going. Sell some t-shirts with the dog and shit. Or always possible, somebody's kid.
Yep, that's You'd be surprised. Right. You'd be surprised.
Almost
Jeff Ulbricht's son strikes again.
Look, how did they get the number to Shador's phone? Somebody's kid.
Oh yeah,
that is true. Now, question for you guys: do you guys want to change your rankings? Anybody? The two that had the Ravens.
Yeah, I'll check. I mean, my whole basis for that was Cheeto, right? I wasn't buying that Cheeto was the guy. It's obvious Jaire Alexander is an elite guy. The thing with him, though, the asterisk with him, though, is like you kind of talked about, Sonny, the 7 games in 2 seasons kind of thing. I'm just wondering how that's going to hold up in the AFC North. I'm not wishing that on the guy, but I think that, him playing in this physical division, we know how physical it is here. How is that style gonna work? But I think Jaire is going to be an excellent signer for the Ravens. I also think the fact that you have Cheeto probably might be upset right now, but obviously throughout the season, we see it all the time. Corners get a lot of soft tissue injuries. There's going to be games where Cheeto is going to be starting at some point. So I think that that's good for you guys from that end. I would give the Ravens the first place rankings now based off of Jaire Alexander being there. Still think that this move, though, was made because of Jamar Chase. That's what I think it was. I think it was Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. A little bit of that.
Has Jaire ever gone against Jamar Chase?
They haven't. I don't think since he's only played 7 games in 2 years. And I think the last time we played the Packers was Jamar's rookie year. And I don't think Jaire played in that game. So I don't think that they've actually ever been against each other.
Hey, man, I feel like if the Packers felt like Jaire could cover Jamar Chase, he wouldn't be a free agent right now. But we'll see. Let's see.
Well, but the Packers.
That's interesting for
And
him to only get like a year for $6 million. I'm like, is it
There
that
was reports that there was teams offering more, but he wanted to go play with Lamar.
with
in
Lamar?
Baltimore,
Okay,
so.
so yeah, he just took the Lamar discount because I was
He was a sub 4.4 guy. I feel like maybe the speed fell off for him, and like people can see it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, when you've only played 14
this
games,
is like
2 seasons.
2021 Jaire Alexander, like
yeah.
I'm gonna put him in. I thought higher of Cheeto than Ace did. This really changes nothing. Either Cheeto or Jaire fill that role, right? Like I think they're not that different.
Okay.
Like we said, that's not Cheeto anymore. That's baked cheese stick.
I know y'all think he's soft Cheetos over there.
Great value.
Okay.
Look, where he played Carolina last year or somewhere like
No,
that?
he was in Tennessee.
Okay, look, man. It's easy for you to look cooked in Tennessee, man.
Hey, I'm not Jerry seat on the other side of him, though.
I'm not gonna lie, Q. He was kind of cooked the last year with the Bengals, but I gave him grace because he was coming off of a knee injury. So I'm gonna give you a little grace. I don't expect you to be yourself until the season after that, and then he was cooked this season. So that's when I was like,
you know what? I'm predicting it now. Week 4, Sonny gonna be on here. You know who's one of the guys who surprised me? Cheeto right here. Right here. I think y'all sleeping on Cheeto, man. Like, damn, he had one bad year in Tennessee. He probably was depressed. He was playing for the Titans.
His ass chose to go there.
Okay. With that being said, let's talk about the safety position.
Imagine getting an interception in practice. It don't mean nothing because it's Will Levis.
And then that is fair. He likes to throw to the other team. Okay, so talking about the safeties, Ace, I'll start with you. Who do you have as your 4th safety room?
Did you ask me on purpose? Was there a reason for that?
No.
I mean, it's got to be the Bengals. It's got to be. I mean, when we go on defense, it's got to be the Bengals. I mean, right now, I like. So Geno Stone, there was a love-hate relationship with Geno Stone, rightfully so.
But he could get better in the later half of the year.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There was an adjustment period, I think, for him. Early on, he was struggling. Towards the end of the season, that stretch, he really turned it on. I think he ended with 4 interceptions. I think they saw that. A lot of people thought, like, okay, Geno Stone could be on the move this offseason, especially under a new defensive coordinator. He started putting out cryptic tweets, which you didn't tell me he was that much of a tweeter, Sonny. I didn't know that Geno was kind of loud on Twitter like that. He was kind of going at it with fans and stuff like that, but he put out cryptic tweets that made it seem like
softly and hold a dagger at the knife of my enemy.
Like he's gonna at some point last year, I was thinking that this guy was a double agent the way that he was playing, but then he turned it around. He put out tweets that let it kind of be known that he was going to be back. Bengals didn't draft the safety. I was kind of shocked that happened in the draft. I expected them to definitely look at safety in the draft. They didn't do that. So I think the plan is going to be Geno Stone, and I think it's also going to be Jordan as well. And I think outside of that, there's a lot of question marks in the Bengals safety room. So like looking at Jordan Battle, he's pretty solid. I think he's a box safety. He has some range. But they got rid of Von Miller finally. I don't know why they kept playing. I mean, not Von Miller, Von Bell. They got rid of Von Bell that was a disaster last year. I didn't understand why he was playing as much as he was because he clearly had lost a step. But they're finally going with the youth movement. But as it stands right now, looking at this safety room, looking at what the rest of the division has, it's not even close. So for me, it's the Bengals are 4th here.
Jarrett?
Yeah, just looking at like the duos around the rest of the AFC North, like I think the Geno Stone can continue what he started in the back half of last year and continue to get better. But he's doing a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to just the safety room as a whole. And I don't know, the defense as a whole, like I hate putting the Bengals continuously, yep, they're worse there. They're the worst there and there. So like for the sake of Ace, my friend, I hope that, we see them take a little bit of a step forward. But just looking at the rest of what the division has to offer at the position, both as their top guys and the number 2s and 3s, I just think that overall they just lack both the star power and the depth.
Cute.
Yeah, I gotta put the Bengals here. Bengals here for pretty much same explanation as everybody else, right? Like it's not. I mean, Jordan Battle was young. We'll see what he has. Like, but Geno Stone. I got some fun names here at the bottom of this depth chart. I would like to mention Shaquan Loyal, PJ Jules. Now, if he's good,
That's a good one.
Fun, right? PJ Jules, Jalen Key. Like, okay, with the 2 Ys, double Y with the key. Like it. Dejon Anthony. I fuck with it. You know, Tyson Anderson, spelled Tycen.
Oh,
Toledo.
that's
Toledo.
Oh,
Toledo.
yeah.
Oh, from
Yeah.
Toledo?
what
That-
kind of G League ass name is that? That's
Nah, that
bad.
is the name of a really annoying safety that hits lower than he
That-
should. Right?
That's less than
Special
great.
teams, son. Like, that's a special teams ace right
Yep,
there.
He is. He actually is. You're right. Tyson Anderson is a special team
His name is Tyson. He was never going to be out here winning the Heisman. Like, but you know what he was about to do? Bust the wedge, right? But yeah, you know, this room needs improvement. I think there's a big gap between 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 in today's rankings.
I agree. Look, I was looking into, and I like Geno still, but the thing with Geno, and I was upset that he was getting so much hate because again we drafted Geno, 6th-round pick, so it wasn't like he was an early draft pick, but he definitely overachieved. He is good in the places if the quarterback throws the ball near him and he's just playing safety, he can react. The problem with Geno, he's not that fast, right?
Mhm.
So he can get cooked if he's out of position very quickly. Now, if he's playing zone too deep and the quarterback happens to throw the ball near him and he's just coming forward, he has sticky hands, he can make the interception. That's when he was in his best when he was with Baltimore. But the problem is that other part, right? That if you ask anything more of Geno than that,
If you ask him to tackle, he is not.
he's not the greatest tackle.
This is
He's
not what
the
he
greatest
does. This is not what he does.
Although against the Bengals, that one game, he was the one that saved the tackle. Now he got stiff arm. He didn't quick on the play. It was against.
He's a slow him down guy,
Yeah,
you know?
but then he came in and tackled him because Wilson didn't tackle him in that play against who was it? Ty Wallace,
He
right?
was. I think he led the team in missed tackle percentage. He was
That's not
not
great. That's not great.
Not a great tackler.
But I agree with you in the sense that I thought the Bengals were going to bring at
Is
least
he-
safety competition.
Ace, is he at least like, because there are guys who miss a lot of tackles and they're completely useless with how they miss. Like Jadeveon Clowney's the biggest example I could think of. Like, oh, the way you miss tackles is completely useless. For
Yeah, because he
everybody
doesn't
else.
slow anybody down.
Yeah, he just
whiffs.
wraps around and just flies off the dude, right?
Yeah.
Like, is he at least a useful missed tackler where it's like, okay, he doesn't make the tackle, but he does trip up somebody enough to where it's much easier for the next guy to make it? Because I do think there's a difference there.
He's usually the last guy.
Safety.
So
Yeah.
which
Damn,
honestly, I have to give Ravens fans credit because when we signed them, they were like, if you're asking Geno Stone to tackle somebody, that's not what you want to do. So no, he is not a good tackler, bro. It was very apparent early on.
Because like
It-
Grant has a high missed tackle percentage, but
Mhm.
when you watch him, you're like, okay, but he tripped him up, right?
Yeah.
Like so somebody else got there.
Okay. We're gonna go with 3 Ace. Who you have at 3?
Yeah, 3 for me. This one was a little easy just because of the names in some of the other rooms. I went with the Cleveland Browns here. I like their duo a lot more than the Bengals. You talk about Delpit. I don't know if they're going with Hickman or Casey, but I think that depth is much better than what the Bengals got. I know Casey came from Pittsburgh. It's been it seems like that happens a lot in this division. There's a lot of recycling around the division. But I just think as it stands right now, that's a better duo, at least on paper and depth-wise, than what the Bengals have right now. But I don't think they have one of those, household names at the safety position that's stronger like the other two teams do. So I've got the Browns 3rd here.
Cute.
Yeah, Cleveland's 3 here. This room's a little bit less question mark ridden than Cincinnati. I think Grant Delpit's presence there does help because he is a pretty useful playmaker, especially in the run game for the Browns. Ronnie Hickman, he's all right? Like he had a down year last year. When you ask Ronnie Hickman to do a lot, that's a problem, right? When you're asking Ronnie Hickman to babysit and, handle some post safety responsibilities, I think he's fine. I think that's mainly the role he's going to be kept into. His competition, these are names. Some of these names are going to be familiar to you. Demonte Casey, right? I was like, damn, he's still in the league. But Demonte Casey is back there. They got some veterans in there. I think that's really just so Ronnie Hickman can beat those guys out. Rayshawn Jenkins, to see if he can beat them out. It's not the strength of the Browns defense, but if you look at how the Browns defense is built, it's D-line, and then as you go up it, the priority becomes much lesser. And I think free safety is one of those spots where they kind of need a babysitter back there just to make sure somebody don't go over the top. And it's functional for that. I think that safety room is, but I wouldn't say that the Browns' strength at all is their safety room. So got to put them at 3 because I think the other 2 teams legit have strengths at this position.
Jarrett?
Yeah, I'm going to put the Browns 3 here as well. Although I will say Ronnie Hickman was still graded as a top 20 safety by PFF for whatever that's worth.
Man, safety ratings from PFF.
I know. And very much that's the one position where you look at it and you're like, all right, that's a little, interesting.
His safety grades are the ones where I'm like, I have to watch it.
And that's fair. That's fair. We've talked about it on the show before when we talked about Minkah, where it's like you got to watch tape to really realize how important he is to that defense, which we'll talk about in a second.
Ward had like a top 5 year once, and they had him at like a 52 grade.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Dog,
so
what are y'all doing?
Yeah. So, but that being said, like Grant Delpit, Ronnie Hickman, still a good safety duo that I like a lot. By no means is it I wouldn't say it's a weakness of theirs, but like you pointed out, I don't think it's one of their greatest strengths either. But still, a good safety duo. You can certainly do much worse in the NFL, and I do think that they're in fine hands. We'll see how much of a role they give Casey as that third guy. Steelers fans know all about Demonte Casey. He's fine, like sure. So you could do a lot worse than what they have at safety. But in terms of the division, I think the other 2 teams are certainly 1 and 2 without much question.
Yeah, for me, Delpit, although I expected more of him, or by this time of his career, I would have expected Delpit. I remember us talking about Delpit coming out of the draft. Before the draft, we all liked him. Hey, it happened, Jared, I know you weren't here back then, but it happened like 2 or 3 years in a row that we all like a player. JOK was another one, and then fell to the Browns in the second round, right? The Delpit was one. And I thought Delpit would have been better by now, but he is a solid player. But that's he's definitely a starting level safety in the NFL, right? I was expecting him more to be a Pro Bowler, but he's definitely a starter level safety. Which, in the case with the Browns, because I was thinking about which 2, and I could be a little biased because I like Geno Stone, right? But Delpit, in my opinion, is better than Geno Stone, and the other 2 are similar-ish. So that's why I have the Browns here. I have been expecting every year, like, oh, maybe this is the year that Delpit takes a little bit step up, right? And to be fair, as the Browns are gearing with a great with a great front, you hope that those corners and safety can make more plays because these quarterbacks have to get the ball rid of, right? So maybe this is the year that you may see more picks out of Delpit. We'll see. But this is a solid room. Okay, I'm gonna go with 2 first before everybody because I know when I say this, people.
Do you want to go with 2? Because I feel like you and Jared are going to argue about the placement of these top 2.
Well, I'll go first, Jared, because I no.
Or do you want to get me and Ace out the way?
I'm actually gonna flip it because I know the chat is about to flip. I actually had the Ravens at number 2.
Oh,
and the reason why I have the Ravens at number 2 is because call me consistent here. Rookies for me. The rookies for me are a question mark, right? We talk about Kyle Hamilton, a guy that I love. The game, his first season, that half of the season, he was getting cooked left and right. That game that we lost against Miami, Kyle Hamilton got cooked twice, 14 points in that 4th quarter, and we ended up losing that game. There's what now. I think it's the deepest room. It's the room that, in my opinion, at the end of the year, if Starks is what people think he will be, I think this room is number 1. But like anything, you see a rookie being great in college and not great in the NFL. That's why for me, all rookies are like a C level until they can prove me wrong. I do like Starks, but again, I need to see it. Love Hamilton, love everything he does. Darius Washington, a guy that when they put him over there in the safety, really changed between him and Williams. He's out for a while, rupture his Achilles. I think it's November's when they're tracking him to come back. And
there's no guarantee.
And no guarantee, right? It's no guarantee. This is, and then Bria Biu, I think is how you pronounce his last name. I like him a lot as a project. He's still growing to the position. And then they're putting a couple other guys. I don't think they're gonna make the team. But
did he have a brother?
Who?
Igibune?
No, Igbenogany.
Yeah.
I think. Wait, which Igbenogany is on the Ravens?
Okay, because like, isn't there like a Davidson?
No, we're talking. What I was talking about.
You're talking about Desmond, right?
Desmond. Yeah, no, I was.
I could have sworn there's like one that wears like 24 and plays special teams somewhere.
So Sanosi Kane is a guy that we drafted last year, and he showed promise as a special teamer.
Oh, you know who I'm thinking about?
Who?
Davidson from Ohio State.
Oh.
He was. Yeah, he's at Ohio State right now. Number 1. That's who I'm thinking about. Are they related? Or it might just be a common like surname.
Maybe. But so the two guys
that's his brother. Okay.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. So those two guys, Kane and Braid, I like them as a project, potentially in the future being their spot safety, mostly special teamers. But if we talk about the three guys, right, Darius Washington, a guy when he's on the field, he plays great. The problem with him throughout his career is injuries. He's in year 4, and you just didn't really hear about him until last year because of injuries. But he always plays really good when he's there. And like I said, Stark and Hamilton potentially could be the best safety tandem in the league, potentially. But I don't know. Until Starks is there, we have to see. And that's why I have them 2. I'll explain why I put the Steelers later at 1 because I don't want to take the whole segment. But yes. Jerry, you want to go with your 2?
Yeah, the Ravens are also my 2. Touch about the Steelers in a little bit for most of the same reasons. I think Malachi could be very good. I think Kyle Hamilton's the best safety in the league, but I do think that the Steelers will just have a better tandem and a deeper room. But Kyle Hamilton's awesome. I hate the fact that he plays for Baltimore. I wish that he played somewhere else. But he's, like I said, in my opinion, the best safety in the NFL. If Malachi comes close to reaching his potential, that's going to be a very good tandem of guys back there. So, I don't think there's much for me to add that you didn't already say. But, both of them are – if Malachi reaches close to his potential, love to see it. Kyle Hamilton's the best safety in football.
So, Q, you can go with 2 and 1.
All right. There are times where I make analytical, well-thought-out, football-based decisions on this show. This will not be one of those times. I'm going to put the Steelers here for a couple of reasons. One, I got to do this for Cleveland because, look, as much as Cleveland don't like the Steelers, they really don't like Juan Thornhill, and I can't give him the reward of being a part of the number 1 safety room after how people in Cleveland feel about that man. I think people are overreacting. He's a good run defender, but my man antagonized the whole city, called them losers, right? Like, can't put
not know that
while he was on the team. This is like before he said, this is the first week he got there. He's like, people just don't understand. Y'all ain't got that witty attitude. That's a crazy thing to say.
Damn, I did not know that.
Juan was Juan one of them super positive. Like, you remember Nick Swisher? Baseball fans, y'all remember Nick Swisher was too fucking positive, or how Russell Wilson can kind of be too positive? Yeah, that's 100% the personality of Juan Thornhill. He's there. Here's the main reasoning. I think Kyle Hamilton is better than Minkah Fitzpatrick at this point of his career.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And I think he's so much better that just makes the Ravens room way better. I like Malachi Starks as a selection there. I think that's going to pair up nicely in the Ravens system. Deshaun Elliott was pretty good last year. Like he was a bit of surprise. Like I'm not sleeping on him. I think there is a gap between Cleveland and Pittsburgh here, 2 and 3, a significant one. These are both really good safety rooms. I think I'm gonna give the edge to Baltimore because they have youth on their side, and I think these guys are getting better every year, right? Where Pittsburgh's room, maybe Deshaun stays about as good as he was last year, but you're kind of expecting Minkah to maybe not have a stark decline, but start the decline sometime soon here. Whereas Kyle, I think he's one of the best safeties already. He's like 24.
Yes, I think.
Yeah, he's like 24. Malachi Starks is a rookie. I think he's going to be good off the back. So not only are you going to have a good athletic secondary there, but also a super young one. Even though that cornerback room is starting to get old for Baltimore, but they like it that way.
Ace.
Yeah, for me, I think I disagree with you, Sonny, on a couple points. I know the rookies thing is kind of a thing, but when it comes to rookies, at least this article that I'm looking at that PFF just came out with, in terms of the hit rate, safety is the third highest that you can hit in the first round. You actually have a better chance of hitting on a safety in the first round at 71% than you do in the second round, where it goes all the way down to 43.8%. Safety, it looks like the safety position, tight end and interior offensive line, that's where you're going to get the most hits. And I feel like using that logic, I feel like Malachi Starks is going to be okay. I do disagree. I think the Steelers have more depth than you guys, right? I think the Steelers, when you look at what they have in that locker room, I think you could say that they have 3 to 4, starting quality, low end starting quality, one high end starting quality safety, obviously. But they have about 4 guys in there that have started at some point. We kind of talked about the shuffle in the AFC North. Juan Thornhill's in there or whatever. He used to start for the Chiefs, started sometime for the Browns. So they've got him on their bench. So I would actually say that the Steelers are the deeper room. But I think because of the duo, I'm putting the Steelers second because I just think Malachi Starks with Kyle Hamilton, if they hit on both of those safeties, the last time that they drafted a safety in the first round, it was Kyle Hamilton. And I think Malachi has the makings of being a really good safety. And I think that's why Baltimore went out there and drafted him. And this is a guy that was supposed to actually go a lot higher than he ended up going. And so the potential and the ceiling that Malachi Starks can bring, when we've already seen this Ravens team now, they went about it a little bit differently because Kyle was playing some nickel. We've debated that a lot. But I feel like you're safe in Baltimore's system. I don't look at Baltimore as a place that can't develop, defensive players. We've seen what they've been able to do. And I think that
safe prospect, right?
He's safe. There's not really
it's not really a risky one where you're projecting a lot of how that's going to translate. It's not like he's a solid player with questionable measurables. It's nah, he fits the profile of what usually works out, and his tape lines up with it.
And if you guys are just going to use him as a box safety, I think he'll be fine.
I actually think they're going to try to use him more as a free.
They're going to use him to do whatever the fuck Kyle don't want to do.
Exactly.
Whatever Kyle don't want, you get next. That's what his job going to be. So he better learn to sit in them blues, dog.
Yeah, because of those two, the potential there is what makes me want to take the risk on them. I think it's clear that the Steelers had a deeper room, but I don't think they have a person to go along with Minkah like the Ravens do. And then like we were talking about, I think Kyle Hamilton, you could kind of say now he surpassed Minkah. So to me, you're talking about a 2-time All-Pro on Kyle Hamilton, right? First team, then second team All-Pro.
Damn, already?
I don't know if Minkah has any All-Pro years left in him. I'm not saying he's going to be bad, but All-Pro is the best in the league. So you got one of the best safeties in the league. And then you have another guy that has potential. I don't know if he has maybe he does have All-Pro potential. We'll see. But I think you have a guy that at least has Pro Bowl potential in Malachi. So for that reason, I'm going to put the Steelers second, although I do think that they have the stronger, deeper, or not the stronger, but the deeper room in terms of depth. It's stronger from a depth standpoint. But I think from a talent standpoint, I've got to give the slight edge to the Ravens.
Also with the Steelers, you got to factor into the last few seasons we've been playing the why are they doing this with Minkah game. right?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if Minkah has all pro years left. Like, he might. Like, you know, I wouldn't put it out the range of possibility. Minkah's what, 28, 29?
28.
Yeah, like, he's not cooked.
He's not cooked
Or
no, he's not
anything
cooked
like
at all.
that. I don't mean to make it like that, but it's like every year, it's like Pittsburgh got something going on with their secondary where they got to use Minkah to plug a hole, and it's like, oh, well, Minkah can't really be Minkah right now. And it's like a constant coming out of Pittsburgh of like, yeah, well, we have to have Minkah do this and that, and he can't really do these things.
And it's heavily relying on Minkah. Like, they don't do like the Ravens will go and get Marcus Williams. They'll go and get somebody. Like, the Steelers will just get.
There's more that the Ravens have done to make sure that Kyle could be used to just strength on that team than the Steelers have, which ultimately is like why I'm like, all right, man, I gotta go.
We got Devontae Casey at home. We don't need to go get somebody.
Hold on now. Leave Devontae. Leave Devontae Casey alone. All
to
right?
get straight over there.
I just would like to see them go and get another elite level safety. Well, actually, I wouldn't like that. No, I'm a Bengals fan, so I wouldn't like that. But I just think that he deserves to have somebody better playing alongside him.
I think they need better corners. I think that's like what always pops up with them is like, oh, they need somebody to fill in there, here and there.
It's usually just nickel corner. Like in 2021, they had 7th round rookie Trey Norwood out of Oklahoma and Arthur Millette, who was still there, who were kind of like duking it out. None of them, they didn't feel confident in that. So I think week 1 against Buffalo, Minkah was playing nickel.
But that's what Slade plays now, right?
No, he's going to be the second outside guy.
He's going to be outside guy.
Oh, I thought he played mostly nickel.
If you guys get Ramsey.
If they get Ramsey, he's going to be the nickel.
He's going to be the nickel.
They're not getting Ramsey.
I bet they will.
I don't know. Ricky be on point, man.
I believe in Ricky.
That just feels like a splashy move, and the Steelers just don't.
Yeah, I agree.
We gotta stop saying that, man. For the last 2
Jalen
years,
Ramsey fought AJ Green.
Moves.
He fought AJ Green. Sounds like a Steeler to me. All right.
He fought AJ Green
and lost.
Lost very badly.
Very badly.
I'm just saying we got to stop saying, "Oh, that doesn't sound like a Steeler move." The last 2 years, all they've done is that. Like that was a Kevin Colbert thing. This is,
I guess this is not your grandfather.
The con man. The con man. Isn't that what they call him?
Are we sure Jalen Ramsey? No. Let me not go there. Let me not have the "Are we sure Jalen Ramsey is good" conversation.
I think he's. I don't think he's. A similar conversation with Minkah, right? Like he's still good, but is he? All pro good anymore? Maybe not. But I think if they were to get,
only time we talked about Jalen Ramsey the last 5 years is him getting cooked.
I mean, he was an all-pro 2 years ago, or a second team all-pro, I believe, or a Pro Bowler with Miami. One of the two things.
I feel like that was a reputation. Pool,
maybe that's fair. I mean, Bobby Wagner got the lifetime achievement all-pro this past year, so that's fair.
I feel like a lot of Jalen Ramsey is like, oh God, it's Jalen Ramsey, but it's not like we've been watching him play recently and been like, damn, Jalen's still one of those. Like it's been since he was in LA that I've been like checking for him. Like these Miami years.
The first game that he had with Miami, they played against New England, and Mac Jones threw him a pick 6 like it was intended for him. So I think that there's still something there with Jalen, and I think when you put
Jones,
Mac Jones, but I think if you put him in a secondary that has JPJ and Slay, and then a solid safety tandem, he can thrive.
The Steelers really try to pull out the best of 2018 right now.
I mean, if you would have said, man, the Steelers got Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, and Jalen Ramsey, I'm like, God damn, all right.
Y'all remember the Cavs roster like in the regular season in 2019 where they had like D Wade,
Derrick Rose.
Yeah, it was like his team would have been something in 2015.
If this was still the first Obama administration, this team would kick ass.
Yeah, I mean, like, no, it was 2018. That's when this team would be awesome, right? Like Aaron Rodgers would win MVPs.
Yeah,
that's that Ravens when they had Devonta Freeman and
Le'Veon Bell.
And I was like, damn,
shit, they had Le'Veon Bell.
We
They
did.
had Le'Veon Bell for like 10 minutes.
I think he lasted like a game
number
or two,
17. Yeah,
That was ugly.
Shout out to Deontay Johnson carrying the legacy.
Yes, that was the year where like they signed like every veteran free agent running back because all of theirs got hurt. So Lev was there for a minute, Devontae was there for a minute.
Feel like getting excited about Jalen Ramsey is like, oh man, we signed Justin Simmons. It's like, I don't know, dog. Like,
I mean, if you're the Bengals though, not to shit on the Bengals or anything, Ace, but like Justin Simmons would be a welcome addition.
I would take Justin Simmons right now.
Julian Blackmon, who's still out there, that would be a good pickup.
The whole year in Atlanta, and we didn't notice him once. Like, but Yeah, it's just I don't know how useful Jalen is at this point, but we'll see if they get him.
Yeah, we'll see.
Look at this.
He
got a
has to
super
be
chat.
better at the slot than like, you know, whatever small school guy Mike Tomlin falls in love with during fucking camp.
Oh, don't worry, Dante Kent. He's already there. He's already there.
Pierre, what was it? Pierre,
James Pierre.
Pierre
Pierre
Peninsula. The
Pierre
Pierre Peninsula. Yep.
Damn.
Jamar Chase turned him into Pierre Peninsula in
Pierre
2021.
Polster. That's what he ended up being.
Don C here says, shout out to you, man. Thank you for the super chat. Jared, if the Ravens make it to the Super Bowl, will you get a Ravens helmet for that wall?
Eventually, I'm going to anyway. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
want
was
to get one of
gonna
every
say,
team. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he,
Yeah.
and then
Just
if
wait
we
until the very end.
lose,
Wait until the very end, Jared.
Yeah,
Hold
keep him
out.
for the last one.
Individual team
Keep
do
it
you
going.
hate the most, Jared? Like, is it
that's
is
the
it
Baltimore
Pitt?
Ravens.
Is it Ohio State? Is
I
it
know a
Baltimore?
perfect spot for the Baltimore Ravens one. It's right next to, I think, that Broncos throwback.
Right.
Put it-
Oh, where the Falcons one
yeah,
currently
where
is?
they can't see it.
Yeah,
Yep,
here, hold on. I'll see if I can get
Oh,
Oh,
it's
where
the
the
Bengals.
Bengals was. That's where the Bengals was.
Yeah, don't worry. They're there.
Oh man, that was funny. That was funny.
Yeah, don't worry. I try to get all the like really good ones visible, and eventually, like when I move and stuff, I'm gonna do my very best. But yeah, I'll get a Ravens one eventually. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get one from like their first year where it's like the B with the wings. I like that logo a lot better.
Get that
Wow.
purple ugly one. Get that ugly.
Absolutely
purple one
not.
that they got. that
I
they
do have.
love.
Hold on.
When you talking about
Purple one was
that
horrible.
that all pro football?
I do have the horrible Jaguar one. The two-tone Jaguar
You know
one.
what? Hot take.
I like
my
that
I think
one.
that helmet's underrated.
Oh, it's
I
so
agree.
bad.
I agree.
It's
Helmet's
bad,
underrated.
bro. That is bad. That is a bad
Nah.
helmet.
Nah,
Look,
I
it's
actually like
only
it.
bad because you saw Chad Henne and Blake Bortles play in it. Like, you know, you saw Tom play that helmet, everybody would have a fucking gradient
I
on
agree.
their helmet. It's not as bad as like the Falcons one, or
That's
the
fair.
worst one is the Buccaneers, like when they had the time clock jerseys.
Those were bad.
Those helmets
Yeah.
were atrocious.
It's giving any given Sunday vibes.
Yeah.
So-
But no, I,
the Ravens helmet they introduced this last year, that shit looked like a created Madden jersey. Like, it
So
shit was
bad.
awful.
The purple.
They thought
I
they was
actually
here with
like
that.
it.
What is going on right here with
Nah, that was horrible, Sonny.
I didn't mind it.
that shit looked like a fan render. Okay,
But-
The fans have been rendering that one. The fans have also been rendering an old white one.
that shit look like whenever you get the Browns are rumored to get a new jersey. Let's see what Twitter has. And it's like they just went with the Twitter design.
it's not good. But yes, I will get a Ravens helmet eventually. I'm just trying to find.
So I
the,
cannot do
the
this
best one.
bet, Don C, because as Jared said, this is no incentives here. Right? Like he's gonna get a helmet eventually. There's no incentive, and then Rogers.
Oh, you
jersey, that's too
have to Winnie the Pooh or Rogers jersey? Is that what we're going with?
No, hell no. Hell no.
Winnie
All right.
Pooh.
That was a good one.
Crazy.
What were we gonna bet with Tony when he was here? We were gonna make him bet that he had to get a big ass picture of was it Ray Lewis and Ed Reed or something like
Something
that?
like that. And what was it that we had to?
Oh, make him
Sounds
wear a
crazy.
Ray Lewis jersey. I think that'd get him. Like,
Oh, Jared, Q did ask you something. What do you hate more, Ohio
Okay.
State or the Ravens?
Oh, the Ravens. I mean, I hate Ohio
who's
State.
who's your least favorite sports entity?
Yeah, I mean, Baltimore's number one. Ohio State would probably be two. But like, Ohio State is different than Baltimore because like Steelers and Baltimore, they go back and forth a little bit more. Like Penn State,
Yeah,
Ohio
Ohio
State. Like
State.
I know during that week, all right, they're going to lose this, and it's going to break my heart because they'll have every chance to win it, and they'll just fuck it up. So Ohio State is just like an accepted defeat. With Baltimore, like at least the Steelers will win those games with good consistency. New England's probably not anymore, but like back in the day, New England was probably number one
Wait,
for a little bit.
Dude, everybody hated New England back in the day.
I have another
Everybody
take
did.
here.
Everybody
Jared,
did.
and where in this list is the Bengals and the Browns?
I don't think he's got beef with us.
I
I
don't.
don't think he's.
I've
That's
said
crazy
it
to
plenty.
me.
I've said it plenty of
That is
times on it.
still
Like,
insane
and
to me.
every time I say it, like, oh, that's disrespectful. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's just like,
No,
Like,
I went to school in Youngstown, Jared. Not far from where you went to school. I know how y'all act, dog.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so sick of
bro,
y'all. Like,
I remember.
you know how many Steelers fans I've heard talk to me like, man, I hope the Browns get good one day. I'm like,
Yeah, dude, I remember whenever they, when Baker had came in and they beat the Jets on Thursday night, I was like, fuck yeah, Cleveland, let's go. Like, I just don't have a
The
beef.
first win, like they were happy for us. They want the rivalry to come back. It's that same. You know why Michigan fans are so ruthless towards Ohio State fans now? It's because they did through a decade of that.
Yeah.
Like we've been through 30 years of it, dog. Every time we beat the Steelers once a year now, and they're still like, man, I hope they could beat us in Pittsburgh one day so the rivalry can come back. And I'm like,
I don't want that. No. I don't want it to be. No. None of that.
No, I think the Big Ben loss in the playoffs did a lot to kill a lot of that.
I 100% agree because a lot of that hatred did come back whenever they lost that game. So that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But even with the Bengals are really good right now, right? Like the Bengals have been good for like the past 4 or 5 years.
That don't bother me.
That for me is insane.
They just really don't.
There's not been an inciting incident though. Like think about the Ravens
that's the thing.
and Steelers. There's been fights. There's been all kind of like incidents and
even with like the Vontaze
shit.
stuff. The Steelers always won those games. You know, so like
I'm never here wishing. Oh, I'm hoping the Browns are good. Well, why would I want the Browns to be good?
When you embarrass them like you did with Vontaze and run into the fucking locker room and then you get it's like you gotta inflict real pain. You're like, this is why I hate the Ravens. Y'all pookie scooted us. Like that shit hurt me. Like, why you think the Bengals hate y'all so much? I mean, the Bengals might. I think y'all might have a legitimate beef with the Bengals because
I don't like either. I don't like none of them.
This Sam Hubbard run. That shit hurt y'all.
But even before Hubbard,
the 525, that shit hurt y'all.
So for me,
Andy
the crazy
Dalton.
part. For me, yes, that one hurt. But for me,
AJ Green all the time. AJ Green.
in general, how can I wish a rival team to get good? Because if that team gets good, that means they might beat us. Well, I want them all to be bad. What are we talking about here?
Mm-hmm. I've never heard a Ravens fan be like, "Man, I hope the Browns could be good so that rivalry."
Or the Bengals.
I remember
the Ravens though. They always have respect for the Steelers. They do not respect the Bengals or the Browns at all.
So I mean, just talk about like the Bengals and Steelers thing. So like, I have a pretty solid relationship with Kenny Anderson, former Bengals quarterback, and he was on my show one time, and he was talking about how one game against Pittsburgh, Joe Green sacked him, and he was like on the ground, and Joe was like, "Hey, come to the locker room afterwards." And they were boys, and was just like talking in the locker room afterwards during games. Like even back then, it didn't feel like the Steelers were like hating the Bengals because they were boys with Ken Anderson, which I thought was kind of neat. Ken Anderson rules, by the way.
Here's how the hierarchy works within the division. The Browns hate everybody. Like that's just how
and
it
that's
goes.
how it should be.
The
It
Browns
should be
will
like that.
fight every team. They got beef with all squads in the AFC North because we mad. All right.
That's fair.
Like that's how it works out, right? Pittsburgh really only got beef with Baltimore.
Yeah.
Cleveland has this strange, like we're the people who used to compete with Pittsburgh in high school. So like, if this shit get going again, like, okay, we're going to reignite it. But honestly, they be sad to see us struggling out here, right? Like they need a quarterback. They need to get right. So that's kind of the relationship Pittsburgh has with Cleveland. And then Cincinnati, they're just kind of like a team they play 2 times a year. Like I don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't even think the Bengals and Steelers are rivals.
Right? Like
I have to. The Vontaze perfect years was a little crazy.
That's fair. And like
the
during
perfect years were crazy.
Had with Vontaze perfect, right? Like,
and
Vontaze didn't have that issue with the Ravens. He didn't have that issue with the Browns. It was just the Steelers. It was just like back then we hated the Steelers. Even our fans hated the Steelers. I think now since the Burrow thing, I think the fans that we hate the most are the Ravens. It's not even, and it used to always be we hated the Steelers because of the Carson Palmer thing.
I was just gonna say when Chemo hit Carson and like both teams were really good, that was a time
and
where
they
like
were
they
always the ones they pretty much they helped fuel us not winning the playoff game multiple times. So it was the Carson years. And then it was the Andy
2015
Dalton things. We just never could beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
So it was that, but it shifted in the Burrow era. It shifted to the Ravens for sure. It's not even close.
Yeah, I think Raven fans and Browns fans just annoy each other because like we get annoyed with Raven fans because they don't understand how the team got there and they always think shit is wrong. And then y'all get mad at us because y'all used to be us. What y'all so? And then it's that kind of a rivalry there. Browns fans and Bengals fans are like the most fascinating relationship because the Bengals have been a better ran organization than the Browns for like the last 20 years, but we still hold our nose up in Cincinnati.
Yeah. When y'all got Baker, that changed. Yeah, yeah.
Like, well, especially like the streak we went on against Joe Burrow, that was like super annoying to Bengal fans. Like we're pretty annoying to Bengal fans. Like Browns fans, but like there's nothing in the world we hate more than the Steelers. Like Steelers go 0-16 and we're like, they go 0-17. And they need to trade their first round pick. Like no reward. Like there's nothing the Steelers could suck for 20 years and I'd be like, it's not enough. Right.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I would never have any nostalgia.
No, I don't want them to. I don't want them to be that bad. I want them to be in this little.
You want them to have hope.
I don't want them to get a top 5 pick.
You want me to have a sliver of hope for the remainder of my life?
Andy Dalton situation to continue.
No, I want them to feel what we felt.
What Q wants is for them to get a first round pick.
I'm working on getting the Steelers quarterback jersey with the name, just like Cleveland had. Like slowly, but slowly.
We can start. We can start it.
Yeah, it's about 8 deep. I just want Steelers fans to look around one day and be like,
we got roughly an NBA bench right about now since Ben retired.
Y'all got like about what 3 short of a WNBA roster? It's 11.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, y'all about to get there. But I just want one day.
If things go bad this year, we can face the Seattle Storm.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be good.
I want things to go bad enough for Pittsburgh to where they just slowly wake up one day and realize, oh my God, we got a quarterback jersey. Oh my God, we're the fucking Browns now. and that slow realization of pain because they still believe that they're like Pittsburgh, they're a little bit above it.
I don't think, they're not.
I think the national media perception of the Steelers is a lot greater than what Steelers fans themselves. Like, I think for the most part, Steelers fans that at least I interact with have become realist about it, where it's like, man, right now they're mid. And it's annoying where everybody who's on national shows, oh, Mike Tomlin does it again. Get fucked. Shut up. Like it's so irritating.
No, I agree with you, but here's where it breaks down. If you ever suggested the Steelers will go under 500, they start sounding like Rich Eisen all the time. I don't like Rich Eisen. Like, yeah, they'll talk all that good, oh, Mike Tomlin overrated, all this shit. When you talk to them, you're like, yeah. So you think they gonna go 6-11 this year?
Two things can be true at once, Q. Two things can be true at once. Mike Tomlin, very overrated, but also probably going to win 9 games.
But everything Rich Eisen say about him be true, right? Like,
well, that's the thing. Like, if Rich Eisen could decide Mike Tomlin to be president tomorw, he would. And I love Rich Eisen. I'm not trying to shit on Rich Eisen, but like, there's a line.
The two things are true, but boy, is it crazy how y'all go from criticizing.
And I got it, and that made me laugh so hard because that's exactly me.
5 wins.
That's exactly me.
It's exactly me. That's exactly how I am. So that is funny.
Okay, before I read,
I'm saying y'all don't know what it's like because like a Browns fan, like, hey man, I'm about to get excited about like 7-8 wins this year. Y'all don't know that.
Before I read the super chat, Ace, you were saying that you don't want the Steelers to be that bad.
No, I mean the Steelers. I think Omar Khan, if you gave him a top 5 draft pick, nah, you don't want to do that. I mean, look what he just did with Derek Harmon with a top 20 pick. I mean, I don't want them to get, because the fastest way to become a relevant team in the NFL is to get the quarterback.
No, get the quarterback. There's a way you could do it. The Browns did it for 20 years. This is what I'm telling you.
You traded the picks. Y'all would outsmart yourselves with the picks. You would be like, nah.
We just fired people consistently, and we had no consistency with these picks that we were bringing in. And also, here's the key part of it: we would spend enough money in free agency to not stink that much, so we wouldn't get like the Andrew Luck pick. We get fucking Trent Richardson, right? Like this is how you do it. Like I need them to go perpetually 4-12, 6-10, whatever the equivalent of that is in 17-game season. That is what I wish for Pittsburgh for the next.
I want that. Oh no,
I want y'all in 10 years to be like,
no,
all right,
Q, this is the curse. This is the quarterback. Q is doing the curse. The 4 Steeler win curse. We can't do that, bro.
No, I didn't predict them to win 4 games. I'm just saying, like, if this is what Pittsburgh
in the future.
If we're still talking about Pittsburgh has had a starting quarterback, and then they're like, all right, guys, we're going to bring in Brock Purdy to compete for the starting job in like 8 years. Like, that they're going to look around one day and be like, oh my God, we're the 2005 Browns. Holy shit. And that will be pain. Like,
And then Q can look at the sunset and rest.
And then every
my
other team
God,
in the
that
AFC would have a
the
quarterback
Thanos
too in this
thing.
scenario.
Yeah.
Thanos thing.
We could post a little dragon meme of like everybody else's quarterback and in Pittsburgh. Oh yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. And then the day the Browns go to shit again, I'm just gonna retire.
So Noah Stone here says the Bengals and the Browns should tank Tom.
Thank Tom.
Oh, for the Steelers never winning a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin would have punted somewhere in the fucking critical part.
Oh,
of the
for
game.
sure. Yeah. And then he'd go on about not living in his fears or some dumb shit that he says.
I put it on
Okay.
4th and 1.
I can't. Oh God, I can't wait for the post Mike Tomlin era. It's gonna be glorious.
So
Ooh, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
I can't wait.
All right, just hope y'all don't hire Mike Pettin. Like,
I mean, I'd like to think that they'd be smarter than that.
I mean, like you could. Hey, Hugh Jackson was the man when we hired him. That's all I will say. Right? Remember that, Ace? When we hired you, was he not the man?
He was the man.
He was the man, Jared. We did a standing ovation when we brought that man into the building. We were like, he almost brought Andy Dalton to an MVP.
Why don't I remember Hugh Jackson getting like incredible
Hugh
media
Jackson.
attention?
He was the one that was behind Andy Dalton having an MVP season.
We had to sign him
Caliber
before
season.
he jetted to New York because we were like, oh, we just can't let Hugh Jackson slip through our hands.
Jeez.
and what was this record in the
The
Browns?
way that he was, I think the Bengals went 8-0 that year. I think we won like 12. That was
he
2015.
What, he was the OC for the 8-0 start
Mhm.
year?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, he was the fucking man, Jared.
He had the Star Wars formation. Yeah, he was in his bag.
He was the Cliff Kingsbury before we figured him out of his time, right? And everybody thought their problems were solved. And I'm just like, oh man, these coach searches, complete crapshoots.
I'll say this: I'm excited for life after Mike Tomlin, but I'm also excited for eventual life after Art Rooney II because he's a
You
horrible.
know who reminds me a lot of Hugh Jackson? The dude who just got hired out of Detroit.
Oh, Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson.
Oh, Ben Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah,
Why
Ben
did I
Johnson.
think Tanner Engstrand?
Yeah, Ben Johnson gives me Hugh Jackson vibes because he does a lot of gimmicky shit, and he's like the fun, like gadgety. Oh, he's gonna. Hey man, be careful what you wish for because that man ran a QB sneak at the 5-yard line, like, with no time left. By the way, like it was at the end of the second half, no timeouts. Ran a QB sneak at the 5-yard line.
That's nasty. That's disgusting.
So me and Jerry didn't.
With
We
Jared
had
Goff?
me and Jerry had the Steelers first, but we didn't say why. I'm gonna go over it quickly here. The reason why, essentially, how I see the Ravens with the top two guys. If we had a Darius Washington healthy right now, I would have put the Ravens one, no doubt. But having a Darius Washington coming November-ish, I essentially how I see it, I have an A+ and like a C level. Okay. And I think the Steelers have 2 Bs in the safety room. I love Deshaun.
You love Deshaun Watson?
No.
Clip
I
it.
mean, it's Deshaun Elliott. Elliott.
Yeah.
I love Deshaun Elliott. By the way, we another safety in this AFC North that the Ravens drafted, Deshaun Elliott. Right? So Geno, Elliott, and then obviously what the Ravens have are all in house currently. I love him. The problem with Elliott was also injuries. Injuries hurt him, and then he had a road trip. Right, he went to Miami, he went to Detroit, and now he found a nice landing spot. He got an extension with the Steelers. I like Elliott a lot. This is I like him. When he plays us, nothing but the worst for him. But other than that, I like him a lot. Hopefully, he plays well. And I do think Minkah has taken a step back, and I cannot figure out exactly why. Could be because of what you guys saying that they don't put him in opportunist plays. Could be that he's a little slower, slowing down. I'm not sure because the thing with Minkah has always been that he's a super smart player on the field. Like he can dissect, he can see the plays, right? Maybe it was just a bad year and he bounces back. I'm not sure. But you're talking about 2 guys that last year proved to be at least a B player safety, in my opinion. And then you have a guy like Starks that I think he will be good. But for me to be consistent, with rookies, I cannot say they're gonna be good when they haven't even taken the snap. Now, after week 1, I can be like, "Oh, that Starks kid looks amazing," but as of right now, how Elliott played last year and fit that defense. It was a great fit. And Minkah, even if he went from an A to a B, still a very good safety. This is why I have the Steelers right now at number 1. Jared.
Yeah, I think Deshaun Elliott was awesome. Earned the extension that he got. So I'm happy that they got that done. He's exactly what they wanted to find in like a good box safety. A dude who's not afraid to get his nose dirty. He'll go in and help against the run. He had 3 fumble recoveries last year, over 100 tackles. Like the dude was everywhere. He played great. And like we said earlier in the show, you know, Minkah's numbers in terms of like the splash plays have gone down over the past few years. The players around him have also gotten worse in terms of like what they were when he first got there compared to now. So I think what he does, you know, certainly still shows up on film in terms of like how much of an impact he has, even if those, you know, big time splash plays aren't necessarily always there. Still, I would say top 10 to 12 safety in the league today. And I think with how Elliott played last year, I mean, you could say that he's, you know, in that top 32 conversation in terms of like overall safety play. You know, they might have 2 of the top 32 guys. So, adding Juan Thornhill as well to come in, you know, dime packages and whatnot, or, you know, 6 DBs, I think would be advantageous. So having him there as your 3rd guy, I think that's an upgrade over what they had last year. And, you know, we'll see. I mean, they have a guy, Sebastian Castro, as well. We'll see if he makes the roster. He's an undrafted free agent out of Iowa, but 2 years ago was, I believe, 2nd team All-American. So a guy with a lot of potential there. So overall, the room I just think is a little bit deeper than what Baltimore has, but in terms of like top heaviness, obviously Kyle Hamilton, like I said, is the best safety in football. But I think overall, as a room, the Steelers have a little bit better of a room.
Castro reminds me a lot of Geno Stone coming out of college. Like if you go back and see Geno in Iowa as well, they like when I was seeing Castro, I'm like, this is Geno 2.0. Anyway, which is not bad, especially as an undrafted guy. So this is the ranking. We have Steelers and Ravens tied for 1st, Bengals at unanimous 4th, Browns unanimous 3, and then corners with the revised. Then we have the Ravens 1, Browns 2, Steelers 3rd and 4th for the Bengals. Okay, that being said, we're coming back here next week to do Q's favorite position, inside linebacker.
Hey.
And after that, we'll take a break for a little bit, and then we'll coming back to.
Ooh, I gotta research. I gotta research my. Hey, I gotta get back in the mid-season form for next week.
Yeah, man. I know.
This the Roquan Smith week. Oh yeah. I gotta figure. Let me figure out how I'm gonna flip these stats. Talk shit about this, man.
Yeah. Before we go, Nova Stone here says, "Remember Sean Davis?
Ooh,
Gronk
bad.
still laughs at him.
Very bad. Mike Tomlin never seen a Maryland defensive back he didn't like.
He loves some Maryland. That's where his kid went there.
Fascination with that university, man.
His kid went there. After that, you guys start drafting at least one Maryland player.
It's very annoying.
He must have went to one hell of a party at Maryland when he was in college.
He must have.
Like he just, you know, some places you just had such a good ass time there one time that you forever look at Giant Eagle with just a smile in your heart. It's something insane must have happened to Mike Tomlin at the University of Maryland back in the day.
That's where Canada came from at one point when he became the quarterbacks coach and evenally OC. Anthony McFarland.
Yeah,
and it's like it never hits when it's like useful, like, you know, Stephon Diggs, right? Like that would have been useful for your
sure would have
with the University of Maryland.
Would
it's
have.
Always like, hey man, let's get Anthony McFarland. Like
Anthony McFarland.
Was he Maryland? I think
he
was.
Yeah, Maryland. Yeah. Okay. That being said, guys, thank you. And I know for my Ravens people, I know I ranked the Ravens second, and you guys are gonna lose your mind.
Sonny. They're gonna cook you
it's
in
okay.
the comments,
It's
Sonny.
okay.
Hey,
cook me all you want. I'm trying to be
replace
consistent.
Sonny as our rep. He doesn't represent our values.
Yeah, I tried to make
primary you, Sonny. You better watch out.
They might. Anyway, we'll be back here next week. Like I said, middle linebacker week. So you know this is gonna be Q's favorite show. Until then, we'll see you next week.
Let's see what Roquan weighs next week.
Peace out. Hey, he's in